Jane's advice and going to ask to be a community member of this group, um, because we've only got a few more months till all is done, right?
Wow, this is
I'm in here for a long time with this school planning, which has been wonderful, even though I haven't really contributed anything of great significance. It's been just a fascinating opportunity. Don't you agree?
Caroline, you always contribute.
says
Finance committee with
community
an
member that I think has seen every single public school rebuilt now. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep.
Minor,
Everyone.
some minor
In
stuff.
fact, I didn't think I'd be wearing hard hats and viewing construction projects when I first ran in 1993, but that was the case for every school building project. So,
You should be very proud. I think.
agreed.
well, I did lay all those bricks myself, so you know.
Okay, I do have confirmation that one more member is coming, so it should just be another minute.
Great. We should we should have that kind of music that is suspenseful as we wait for the last person
Jeopardy theme.
and hope that no terrible tr fate overcomes that person. Who is it that we're? Oh, I should. I'll wait for the surprise.
You just have to wait on the suspense.
Yeah. Yeah, Caroline, I don't think it'll be a problem for you to stay on as a community member. It shouldn't. That's how I stayed on. I bumped off of school committee and then I just bumped down to be a community member.
Who appoints? Is it the moderator?
I think it's the moderator.
Yeah, we need to go through the moderator. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to request, but we'll see.
Okay, we're ready to go. So good evening. Welcome to the Easton School Planning Committee meeting of Thursday, April 13th, 2023. In keeping with an act relative to extending certain state of emergency accommodations, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by committee members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards quorum. The meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on ECAD and is open to the public. So, first item on the agenda, the minutes of Wednesday, March 15th, 2023. Now, I can't see everyone, so just call out. Do I have any questions or comments? And if not, I'll take a motion to approve.
Martin, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Ellen
O'Neill?
seconded.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'll do roll call vote. O'Neill,
Yes.
Sobry,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Helen.
Yes.
Did Tim Vamosi come on yet?
Nope.
Okay. And Wiseman, yes. So the second set of minutes are the executive session minutes from February 15th, 2023. Now, we can't discuss these in open session, but if anyone has any comments or edits, I can hold these for a future executive session. Does anyone want me to hold them? Just shout out if you do. Okay. In that case, I will take a motion to approve but not release the minutes, the executive session minutes of February 15th, 2023.
Ellen.
O'Neill, so moved.
Okay, O'Neill will be second.
We're gonna get you every time, Caroline.
Yeah. Roll call vote. O'Neill,
Yes.
Sabri,
Abstain.
Martin,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Helen,
Yes.
and Wiseman, yes. Okie dokie. Construction progress update. Walter?
All right. So construction progress update. Two pictures you see here are the upper field, the practice field, which is on top of the leaching field. So this is the loam being spread. It was spread on the 10th. It was fine graded yesterday. It's been laser leveled and screened. It is ready for sod, which we will see on Tuesday. Right here on the left, you can see the rain garden, the flush granite curb that abuts the roadway. So there'll be a walkway where those stakes are, or the sidewalk in between. There'll be a rain garden in between, and then behind that, the play structure, playground area with the resilient surface abuts that. On the right, you see the can also see some of the posts for the fencing at the dugouts along the foul line as well. Here you can see some of that playground being laid out in the front of the school, so the one that's really right up tight to the school. Resilient surface will start at that location, I believe tomorrow. The first layer will be poured. So the fall zones have been laid out, so there's just a little bit more rubber there, but you can see all the play structures in both pictures. This is really a natural playscape area, so you can see the wood, a lot of the wood in this area. On the left, you see the new irrigation shed, which will house the control and the pumps for the irrigation well that'll service the fields. On the right-hand side, you can see the locations where the exposed aggregate concrete and the pedestrian tactile warning strips that'll be set at the gymnasium, which is the bus entrance drop-off and the bus loop. So where you can see all the rebar stacked up, that's the bus loop. You can see the bus loop heading down right there as well. On the left, you'll see a comparison to what was taking place a month ago versus what was taking place on April 11th. So a lot of work has been put in place in a month, and it's really nice to see that. Even April 11th to today, all that granite curb is in, where you see that stone right next to all the machines. So they are putting a lot of work in place every day and moving right along. So we'll move into the cash flow schedule update. Billed to date, $74.4 million. MSBA reimbursement to date, $29.9 million. Pending MSBA audit is $2.02 million. So we are moving right along. You can kind of see where the red bars are higher here. It's work being put in place that we thought would have been put in place a little sooner, but it is now in place, so we're moving right along. Just want to give everyone an update on what construction look ahead is going to look like and what you can expect to see over the next month and a half, what you can expect to see on April 28th for the substantial completion, what you can expect to see before June 1st. So there's been a lot of back and forth between Great Builders, PMA, the school, making sure we know and they know, it's a tight schedule, but they want to know what was needed to make sure they achieve the substantial completion date, but also to make sure in conjunction with what the school needs on that date. So you can see here, phase 1, lighting controls and training taking place this week. Exterior caulking at the sidewalks will take place shortly, probably over April break. Then punch list, there's going to be a blitz in the school over April break. There's about 230 items left. Those items were a little bit intrusive to be doing overnight or after school hours. They require a little bit more cleanup, a little bit more time, and leaving areas open. So those areas are going to be addressed during April break. That's been lined up by Brate and all the subcontractors. For phase 2, like I said, 418 is going to be the sod for the upper field. What you're going to see over the next 2-3-4 weeks are sidewalks going in, play structure, base installations, play structure installations, playground resilient surfacing, which will be ongoing, site furnishings, underground electrical, irrigation at the competition field, sod at the competition field, installation of the remaining playfield equipment, temporary fencing and final fencing, landscape plantings, and top coat paving. So what this chart is on the right that you see is what PMA has been working with the school on, both Sam and Leisha, and then also with Brate Builders to identify what's needed on that April 28th date. So everything you see in that green checkbox, you can expect to see complete by that April 28th date, so about 2 weeks now. What you see on that temporary, the competition field growing season, we've spoken with the landscape architect, and as long as Brate's able to get that competition field sodded by the 19th, it'll count as a growing season. We'll need to wait until later in September, early October for that competition field to be able to be put in use. But we'll be able to likely get on that field, or the town will be able to likely get on that field middle of the fall next year. Which, again, just so everyone remembers, we've been talking about spring of 24, so the 2 full growing seasons. So it's looking like we're going to be able to improve that hitting these dates where this is sod. It's just that 1 growing season. So a lot of efforts going in. The reason for that competition field is that it is a little bit more detailed. It is an infield mix. It is the dugouts. It's the bases. But they want to make sure that that's graded properly, leveled properly, that the irrigation's working properly before they get that sod on there. They will likely be hand watering on the upper field to take care of that for a few weeks until they get the irrigation fully up and running. But they'll make sure that they maintain those. So some items that you're going to see lingering, keep going on what's going to be done. So playgrounds, resilient surface, and access to those playgrounds was a key factor in those discussions. So making sure that the school is able to use that area, making sure that the bus loop is there and complete and getting those done. So some items that you'll see on or before June 1st, some plantings that'll take place later in the year. Some plantings need to take place when it's not as cold out. Some concrete flat work out at the parking lot area may be straggling along to get finished, but it won't be access to the playgrounds. All of that will be in place. The top coat would likely be completed on or before that date, so it would be over a weekend, kind of the same as we did the last time. But we don't want to damage it with any equipment. Brate doesn't want to damage it with any equipment. We want to make sure we have a great install and a great final product for the town. So that'll be scheduled for likely a weekend, Friday afternoon into a weekend, along with the striping. Some ornamental fencing, so there'll be temporary fencing put up around the fields, anywhere that the fencing is not complete, but there'll be a temp fence up around both fields to prevent anyone from getting on there. Some pavement markings and stripings, it would be temporary until the final top coat is complete. And then just getting rid of site signage and erosion control and temp fence. So we've really worked this out. We feel very comfortable with what the school has laid out. Great Builders is very comfortable with what is identified in these charts, and we're moving right along towards those dates. And every day we get a little bit closer to those, which is really good to see. A lot of these items are actually complete. Sewer system, the final grading, or sorry, not the final grading. The hydrant loop is complete. Site electrical is nearly complete. So they're working right along and hitting these dates. So contingency update. Give everyone an update where we are. Reminder: the construction contingency was the 3.7 million. We have 2.09 in change orders executed to date. That is both the construction project and the wastewater treatment project. We have about 225,000 in current exposure. Again, all not expected to be authorized at those values, but tracked as current exposure, and then available of 1.4 million. So we are 98% of the way there at this point in time, and we are in great place with the contingency. On soft costs, you can see that we have about $2,900 left in the authorized overage. That being said, we are accounting for some credits in there from 2 of the vendors. So the money has been fully expended, but we have some credits that we're not going to expend, and that's where we stand with that budget on the FF&E and IT. You'll see that on the next slide, and then the bid savings from the wastewater treatment plant. At this point in time, we do not have any discretionary PCOs to review or vote. We likely could have one coming up. Jackie will keep you aware of it. It's in regards to the scoreboard. The scoreboard that was removed from the old softball fields was actually reinstalled by the DPW at the new softball competition field up at the high school area. So we're going to put in the footings, and then we have asked for a price to put in a price to furnish and install the scoreboard, or a new scoreboard to match the exact same one that was at the old fields, but was reused for good purpose over at the high school field. I believe it's a 5x12 sign, so we're moving right along with that. When we have pricing, we'll reach out. If we need to reach out sooner, it may be before a meeting, but we'll reach out to this group for a discretionary PCO review. Don't think we have any others. Chad, do we have any other? I don't think so. Nope. All right, FF&E, I kind of hit on FF&E and IT. You can see the remaining $2,900 from that overage. Highlighted on the right, you can see the 2 credits that we're tracking. Those will go against each of the Wally line items that they're associated with. But that totals the $2,900 remaining when you do the calculation out. So we're in great shape with FF&E and IT budget. We don't expect any other, at this point in time, anything else. Everything's accounted for in that budget. Wastewater treatment plant construction closeout. The VFDs for the blowers were installed on Tuesday. So those are complete. And then we have one final PCO to wrap into a change order, and that project will be complete and closed out. Right now, we are targeting a May 17th, 2023 meeting with the school planning committee. June TBD if necessary. We very well could be wrapped up at that point in time and may not have anything really to update this group on, but we will stay in touch with the chair and make sure that we keep everyone aware if we need a June meeting. Sometimes as we near the end of the project wrapping up, we go bi-monthly or on an as-needed basis with plenty of notice. But at this point in time, I don't think PMA has any new business. Chad, any new business on your end? I think I see Dan on here. Dan, any new business from Perkins Eastman? No. So Jackie, I will turn it back over to you. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, hey Walter, it's Dawn.
It's done.
It's Dawn. And Perkins Eastman. That's okay. It's just one letter.
Yeah.
We don't have any new business. But hi everyone.
All right.
Hi, Dawn.
I'll turn it back over to you, Jackie.
Thank you. So one of the things that we thought we would discuss, we don't have a lot of the school folks here, Alicia and Sam and Ann, but we do want to have a ribbon cutting over the summer. And so we thought maybe we just start discussing it a little bit now, and then I can follow up with them to see if they have any ideas in terms of dates or different things you'd like to see, places to have it. I've never been to one before, so I will defer to those of you who have. Connor, Walter, Caroline, David.
So we brought this up with the TRC. I think July is a good target. I feel like once we get into August and getting too close to Labor Day, people are hard to come by. And based on the revised and agreed upon schedule, July should be safe. That gives a few months. I think that would be a lot of fun. I don't know. I mean, Walter or Chad, I know no one can go on them while they're growing, but will the fields at least be green in July?
They should be.
Aesthetics are important.
They should. Yep.
They should be growing very healthily and being watered by the irrigation system at that point.
So my vote is July, maybe middle or second half of July. The town administration will provide support to school administration for any way we can. We've done ribbon cuttings, not for anything. None of us have had a project this big, but we've done solar fields and other things. We have some folks who can help out, and we would like to be a part of it. We had floated over the winter. I think tours are obvious. Everyone really wants to get in, and that will be neat. But we had floated, you normally have a ribbon cutting for the officials involved, but since it's a school for littles, I think it would be really fun to have like a smaller, like a ribbon that's a little closer to the ground with probably safer scissors, and let some kids do it too. I think that might be really nice. I would defer to Chad and Walter have done this a lot. I think I recall you saying that sometimes you get hundreds or thousands of people at this, given the level of interest when something this size is built. So curious on your thoughts.
We have, yeah. So we've seen these ceremonies anywhere from similar to the steel topping off ceremony, the same kind of program and speaking agenda. We've seen them all the way up to almost like a full community event, like a touch a truck event where there's food vendors and bounce houses and things like that. So it's up to Easton schools in town how far you want to go with that. Obviously the ones that are set up a bit more with food and trucks and things like that draw a very big crowd. We've definitely seen over 1,000 people. Everyone's definitely going to be excited to see the new building, and I'd expect that in July you're going to have pretty big turnout. We can share some examples of programs and
that would be great. Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be awesome if you could email that to the members.
That would be a great starting point, and then we can kind of figure out what works best for us, because we need to also figure out where on the grounds it's going to be, where we can accommodate a good number of people while keeping them off the fields. So, any thoughts that you have on that going forward as we're planning, that would be helpful as well.
Potential financial boring question, but could we take money for this event out of the existing, I don't know, soft costs or contingency? Is that something that could be allocated, or would we have to come up with an alternative funding process?
That's probably a bond council question. We have seen that happen in the past, but I can't answer that for Easton.
We can review that. There, I mean, obviously being a public entity, we don't usually, some of the really expensive party stuff like alcohol is not allowed on school campuses, so that you don't end up with like outrageous costs here. But we'll work with schools and we'll figure that out. Yeah,
and a lot of it obviously will depend too on the scope that we're going to have as well. So this will be fun.
It will be
excited. Any other comments about that, or any other comments about anything else? Any other new business?
Hey, it's Dawn again.
Hi, Dawn.
I assume PMA will coordinate with the MSBA. They typically like to attend and participate.
Yep.
Great. And then my other thought is to not forget the students that were involved with sharing their ideas, the 6 girls that we've included in the past, and maybe, of course, inviting them, but talking to Leisha and anyone, if they want to say anything or give any tour. I don't know.
That's
somehow
a great idea.
Yep, yeah,
we'll
so I don't want to lose
that.
sight of. Yep, I don't want to lose sight of them. But I think everything else is up to you guys, and we're here to share ideas if you need any help. So PMA obviously has done their fair share as well as our team. So
great.
If you need any ideas or any help, just let us know.
Thank you. All ideas are helpful. So thank you. Okay, then I just want to say thank you to Caroline O'Neill. We talked a little bit at the beginning of the meeting, and I'm not going to say everything I said at the school committee meeting because I was an emotional wreck and I can't go through that again. But for 30 years of service on the school committee and all of the other countless committees that you have worked on, including all of the schools, and I hope that you do stay on this committee for the life of it, however long that goes. And just thank you for everything that you've done for our community and for our children. You're one in a million.
Extremely kind of you, Jackie. One way or another, I'll probably be here because, Florence, I don't think necessarily was appointed moderator, and you guys let her in. So,
yep.
I mean, we probably only have another meeting or two. So, it would be nice to stay to the happy end, the happy ending.
Well, you are welcome.
But thank you.
Anything you want to say? Anything else?
It's been a wonderful.
I'm going to jump in before, and I'm going to echo Jackie's thoughts as somebody who's worked with Caroline, both on the school committee and now on the school planning committee. She's always been, from my perspective, kind of a innovative, forward-thinking voice, and I appreciate immensely that perspective and that push that she's given to us to think creatively and sometimes a little bit outside the box is not even the right word, but progressively is the better word. And that voice is really important to ensuring that our students are getting the best education they can, and to also ensuring that we are being good stewards for the folks in this community who over and over again step up and support the schools. So Caroline has been, from my perspective, she's one of the smartest women that I know, and her voice has been really critical to the success of our town.
Thank you also, Jane. Extremely kind words. I actually think of myself as more of an irritant than than a progressive, forward-moving individual. But this has been a wonderful group, and I so appreciate everyone who has put the time in and brought all their ideas to this. I kind of think this is the top accomplishment. I mean, all the school projects have been wonderful, but as Jackie and I talk about all the time, there's just something uplifting about the wonderful Guy James Elementary School. So thank you all for your involvement, and I will continue to irritate as needed.
Thank you. So Caroline, would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I move to adjourn today's wonderful school planning committee meeting.
Do I have a second?
Martin, second.
Okay, roll call vote. Sabri,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Helen,
Yes.
Vamosi,
Yes.
Wiseman is yes. O'Neill, last
Yes.
word.
Yes.
Okay, guys, good night. Have a great night. Enjoy April vacation.
Yep.
Bye.
Have a great
All right.
vacation.
Thanks, Jackie.
Bye.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
Recording